first of all, I just want to say that I'm truly honored to be here today and speak in front of all of you. When I got into real estate, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that anyone would want to hear anything I had to say, to be quite honest with you. I was 40, how old was I? 40 years old when I got into real estate. I've been in real estate for 18 years. So do the math, I'm 58 years old. My kids were pretty much grown because when I became a mom of 3 children, that's all I wanted to do. That was my biggest aspiration in life, was to be a mom. That's all I wanted. And then my mom, who is right there, oh, right there, I was pointing. My mom told me, Evie, being a mom is a great thing, but she was a stay-at-home mom. Oh, no, she was not a stay-at-home mom. She was a single mom. She's like, you have to have something. And I was like, okay, well, what do you think I should have? And she said, I think you should become a realtor. And I'm like, realtor, done. Okay, so that's what I chose to do. But I said, I'm not going to do it till my kids were at a point that they didn't need me on a day-to-day basis. So by the time my daughter, my youngest, she went off to 6th grade, that is when I decided to dive into real estate. So when I got my license, my mom wrote me a check for $100,000. Now, that wasn't a check for me to take to the bank from her, but my mom said, you're going to make $100,000 in real estate. You just watch. And I was like, wow, $100,000. And everybody, I was thinking in my lifetime. My lifetime. I couldn't even fathom the thought of making $100,000 in my lifetime. And now I wonder, she passed away in 2012. Now I wonder, was she talking about my lifetime or a year? I don't know. My mom was a pretty smart lady. So here we go. I'm going to just give you a little bit of my journey. 2005, I got my license. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. First of all, I'm standing up here. I'm a high school graduate. That's it. Nothing more. I got married at the age of 21, started having kids at the age of 23. I got my real estate license. I don't even know who said, you should go to work for Monaco Realty. And I was like, cool, done. Went to work, hung my license with Monaco Realty. I stayed there for a couple years. You know, like everybody, all new agents we sold a couple of houses. And my first house, that check was more than I made an entire year when I worked at the schools. So I thought I was like on top of the world. Then we hit 2008, right? The market just crashed. And that meant nothing to me because I didn't know anything. And in 2008, a good friend of mine called me up and said, hey, Evie, I'm opening up a brokerage. It's called Black Hawk Property Management and Realty, and I would like you to come on and be part of our team. Wow, I could not believe it. I was so excited. I was going to meet him the next morning. I used to drive a Ford Expedition. I was backing out of my driveway, kept going, and all of a sudden I drove over my daughter's car. My little blink, you know, the sensors, they weren't going off, and I'm like, well, what the heck? Well, I felt something, I gave it a little nudge, and then I looked, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I went running upstairs, and my daughter's here today, and she's sound asleep, and I'm like, Casey, Mommy just rolled over your car. I'll fix it, don't worry, but I gotta go buy it, and she was not very happy. So anyway, I met with Kevin. He was like, you can do whatever you want with me. You can sell real estate, you can do rentals, be in property management, whatever it is you want. And at that point in time, you know, I thought about, yesterday I saw Brent Gove, and I thought about Curtis Johnson, and everybody there was saying you need to be in the right rooms. I thought I was in the greatest room ever. And all I ever said was, I want to be like Kevin Levy. I want to be like Kevin Levy. And Kevin Levy taught me a lot. But one of the things he told me was, Evie, you talk too much. You spend too much time with people at the listings, like when I was showing them rentals, and I'm like, but you don't understand. I'm learning about them. I'm trying to learn more about them. And the first thing I did to them was say, why are you renting and not buying? And I turned a lot of people, tenants, from renters into buyers. Now, at the time, I didn't realize it, but I was building a pipeline. And sometimes they would buy right then, and then sometimes it would be when they moved out or maybe down the road. But so I did that. Then the market was really crappy. We were doing short sales. Let me tell you all, when you come into a market that's really good, you have a lot of success. When you have to work through a market that's really hard, you work and you work and you work. And sometimes you work for a year and a half and get nothing from it. And that was the short sell lives, the short sell years. But what I learned was those people who you helped, they're still in my life today. So it's worth it to build that relationship, work hard for them. Don't cry about it. Just do whatever it takes. And that is, like, I don't listen to the chatter. Everybody comes up to me and says, oh my gosh, it's a horrible market. And I'm like, is it? I don't know. To me, it's not. It's just different. Every market is different. You need to learn to adapt. Don't worry that the interest rates are high. I personally kind of like it. And I share a story. My interest rate was over 10% on my first house, so what are you crying about? That's kind of what I say. Who cares? What do we say? Buy the house, date the rate, okay. Whatever you have to do. Honestly, when all the people who were coming into the market when it was really great, they were like having their heyday. I wasn't, because I have a niche market, and they're called first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers didn't like that market. First-time home buyers like this market if they work with Evie Brown, because I tell them it's okay. We don't have to go up against everybody. The seller's going to pay for everything. And typically, I get them to do it. I get sometimes $19,000, $21,000 in closing cost contributions, and all they're paying is their down payment. So stop crying, stop listening to the chatter. It's okay. You just need to learn to adapt and move on. And that's what I did back in 2008 too. So I learned to adapt. I was doing short sales, right? Well, those don't really pay the bills. So I hung my license with a property management company. I decided, they lost a property manager. They're like, you want to do that? And I'm like, sure, whatever. Well, let me tell you people, if you want to work hard, get into property management. It is like horrible. And by the time I left it, the phone would ring and I'd be like, I am not answering this phone, because what I learned was you make one person happy and you make one person mad. It's either the tenant's happy and the owner is mad, or the owner is happy and the tenant is mad. You never can please everybody. So I'd let it go to voicemail, I'd hear it, I'd try and solve the solution before I ever called them back. But all this time, I had 150 properties that I was taking care of. That's 150 people in my pipeline. And one day, I'm a slow learner, okay? I will admit that. I'm a very slow learner, but I had this moment, and I'm like, what am I doing? So I asked a dear friend of mine who is sitting in the back, he's a lender, Chuck Hunley, what do? I just want to be in real estate again. And he's like, you can do it. I know you can. So I took a leap of faith. I left property management and I went right back. I left property management and went to sales only. Now, in 2016, so I was with Blackhawk from 2008 to 2016. 2015, one of the broker owners sold his portion and moved and bought another company called Foothills Realty and Management. So he needed a year to get started there before I came over. And when I did come over, though, I said, I don't want to do property management, but I want to be your leasing agent. Because again, I'm thinking pipeline, pipeline, pipeline. So I did that. And then things dry up. Then I meet Jeff Sutherlin in Subway, of all places. Who would have thought? He's like, he heard me on the phone. He's like, oh, you a realtor? I'm like, yeah. And we just start having conversation. And then a few weeks later, I received this really nice note in the mail from him. And I called him Then January came, I'm crying about the market, I'm scared, am I a terrible realtor? I don't have any clients. And lo and behold, I take this class called Operation Catapult. He told me, you have to set a big, hairy, audacious goal. And I was like, okay. So it was a 90-day goal. I set a goal of making 100 grand in 90 days. Yeah. So another thing that I've learned is I love Grant Cardone, and he's like all about 10X, putting yourself in the right room, all of that. So anyway, Grant Cardone is sticking out in my mind, and what you learn from that is this. If you want to sell 5 houses, you got to say, I'm going to sell 50 houses. Everything is 10X. So I was thinking, well, if I could make, I had nothing in the pipeline, so a couple grand, 10,000, whatever, 15,000. So I was like, okay, 100 grand. Well, long story short, I didn't hit my goal. So I had consequences, but I did 90. I thought that was pretty darn good. Yeah. But the point of that story, too, is to tell you that he put systems into place for me. I never had systems. People would say, what do you use for a CRM? I'm like, what's a CRM? I didn't know, and here I am, it was 2019. I've been in the business for 14 years? I didn't have a CRM. I didn't know what I was doing. He's like, well, how do you know who to send anything to? And I'm like, well, I got a phone, And seriously, people, that's what I did. I sat every morning. I did so many things that they teach us to do, like 36 touches a year. So what kind of touches? Let's see. You have gratitude notes, birthday wishes, calls, texts, DMs. The list goes on and on. You can do newsletters, pop-bys, open houses, videos. There's all kinds of things you can do. And what I found out was I really did have systems. I just didn't know it. But it helped me. And you know what? In 2020, last year, I'm an 18-year agent. I have a CRM now. Yay! So I guess my point is, it's never too late for you. You don't have to be smart to do this job, but you have to be able to surround yourself by sharp people. And that's what I have done. And I think that's another reason why I have been able to have the success I've had. So now these are not going to look stellar to anybody, probably, especially like Dennis Salazar sitting down here. But I learned something new. I looked up homes.com, and this is what popped up. So in the last 5 years, I've had 80 sales. My total volume has been 28 million. This is my price range. So that's the average price. So over 5 years. Not so bad for a stay-at-home mom. I'll take it. And then this year, I have this up here because I just want to, I guess I can look over here. I forget. I just want to point out to you that I am a relational agent. You might be like getting leads all over the place. I'm not that agent. I've never paid for a lead. I don't know how to go about getting leads. I don't want to get leads. You may want to, and that is absolutely great for you, but that's not who I am. So this house on 169th, this is one of my biggest pride and joys. First-time home buyer. Their mom referred them to me. I was the listing agent on a house she bought with another realtor. That's pretty cool, right? So what that tells you is she didn't refer her realtor, she referred the other realtor, me, because they were getting mail. The other realtor said, Evie, I don't really want to be involved in this. Can I just give her your phone number? And I'm like, absolutely. So I developed a relationship with her. So I got that sell. Val Vista, that was, these are all purchases this year. That one was from a former tenant. She bought her first house with me. We sold it, and we bought this one. Bannock was a referral from a referral part, like a networking partner. Pedro came from a client appreciation party I did. HACIT was from my BNI chapter, so anyone who's not in BNI, I highly recommend that. Iron Horse was the third house they bought from me. Again, tenants. So I haven't been in property management since 2015. Royce Road was a friend of mine in Ahwatukee. He owns a business there, referred me. And Holly Springs was my son's house in Tennessee. I didn't sell him that house, but I found him a referral. So I went on the internet, I searched BNI, I searched realtors, I spent 5 hours vetting, and that's how I got that one. Now this year, these are my sales. Hearn we sold that one. That was the tenant that bought Bella Vista, Rockwell, BNI. So again, I highly recommend it. Apollo, Teacher Home Advantage. That's one of my touch points. I do Teacher Home Advantage program with Chad. He's a lender, and we go into schools. We talk about it. We do these things called a Teacher Daymaker bag with other sponsors, and we just take them something to say, we appreciate you. And then we go back and we do pop buys like what Amber does. So we're constantly working to those people. So that was a principal who was referred to me. Avella was the Iron Horse, the tenant. Don Drive was a dear friend of mine, and Winsong was my son, who, by the way, I was fired, and then rehired by my son.
Your son fired you?
My son fired me, and I was like, that's a first. Okay, well, can I just keep it on the market till you find someone else? Yeah, we saw how that worked. Anyway, pending this year. So Superstition closed yesterday. Again, let me tell you, pipeline, long-term. 5 years ago, I put this person in a car. We drove around. She was just visiting with a friend who was interested. She wanted to move here. 5 years later, we get her into a house. Cali Del Norte, Teacher Home Advantage program. So see, all these little things that you can do, they add up to big things. And I promise you, every one of these people will refer me time and time again, because what do? We take care of them. And let me tell you, I've never had big sales in my lifetime. I'm closing on my largest sale of my lifetime this Friday, and it's 940. So, but I've never marketed it to them. And that's for 2 reasons. Number one, I always felt like if you teach someone and they like what you do, they'll be a recurring client. And that's what happens. But also, everybody, this is, if we're going to get real here, the real truth of the matter was I didn't think I was good enough to sell a $940,000 home. I didn't think someone who made that much money would want me to sell their home. They'd want someone like you. So what that's taught me is I got to get that negative talk out of my head. You've got to get it out of your head, because we are all worthy of it, okay? But that one's closing, and that is another BNI referral. So partner yourself up with people. They got to learn to know, like, and trust you. And that's called being in a relationship. And you need to be constantly building to your relationships. And I've touched a little bit on how I do it. But the biggest thing is, every year I try and add something. In 2016, my now daughter-in-law told me, Evie, if you don't get involved in social media, by 2020, you're not going to have a business. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, seriously, I have all these years of experience, and you're telling me that someone who is like the bomb on social media is going to get a job over me? And she's like, yeah. And so I went to my son, who, in my opinion, is the most non-millennial there is. He agreed. And I was like, well, there you go. I better start getting with it. So at that time, I had my husband make me a Facebook page, because I didn't know how to do it. And we just started rolling with it. So then the next thing I was told is, and this is really hard for me to say, I'll just tell you, because I like to think of myself as being very humble, but people told me they like to see me on Facebook and that I should do more videos. And one of the people in this room told me that a lot. So I've made some adjustments. I used to pay somebody for just posting on social media. I've gotten a website, which I took 1 year, and I spent all my money on the website, and now it's up and running really great. So this year, I chose to do videos. So I have Roman, who has me mic'd up, and as uncomfortable as it is, I decided I better go for it to see where it gets me. And I can tell you that my son's house that I was selling in Ahwatukee at the beginning of the year, that house sold because of a video. The agent called, he had a Dallas buyer, and he said, well, can I come over and just, do a quick video through the house for my buyer? And I'm like, better yet, I'll send you a great video. He sent him that video, and bam, we had an offer that day off the video. So you never know what's gonna sell your house. Now, I walk into every listing I have, and I don't care if it's a $100,000 listing or $1 million listing. I treat them all the same. Nobody is more important than the other. Every listing, every house you buy or sell, you do it all the same exact way. So we do a video of every house. I post it, he posts it. It's on, I got YouTube now. We got Facebook, we got Instagram. Look at me, I'm like getting out there. And that is something I never in a million years thought I would ever do. So that is what I've added to what I do this year. Who knows what next year will bring? I don't know yet because, wow, AI, yeah. So I have to tell you, I had to get up and walk away. I'm like, oh my God, maybe this is my next move. Yeah. So anyway, everybody has to have a why in business, right? And why we get up every morning and do what we do. People, these are my whys. So my son is my oldest. Him and his wife moved to Tennessee, March 20th. The day he pulled off, I got a phone call from the guy up here in the flag shirt. Never knew him. I have a brother, 4 years younger than I ever thought. So I felt like in one day I lost a son and gained a brother. And I didn't lose my son, but I lost him being 5 minutes away. Met him with my brother in July. Next I have my daughter Casey, and this is her beautiful family, her husband Nolan and Cadence, my daughter Kelly, and my beautiful granddaughter Leah, and my cute little grandson Logan, who's here, Cadence, Leah. And this makes me happy and sad, but this picture right here was the last family picture we had. It was March 18th, 2022. We've had some bumps in the road in our family, and what I really want to leave you with is sometimes there are bumps in the road, right? And sometimes we just don't feel like getting up and going to work or doing what it takes, and we're just not in the right mindset, and that's okay, because I did that this year for 4 months, and that's the absolute truth. I had a bombshell hit me this year that I was blown away by. But I've been busy. I've had work. And what I can say to you is if you put the work into it and you take this job seriously, those people are going to remember you and you're going to be okay. So just do the work, have faith, and it'll all work out. And then I would like to just leave you with this. Hi everybody, I am so excited. Today is my client appreciation event.
Evie is an amazing real estate agent. She made buying a house so easy.
She loves her clients and she'll do anything and everything she can. Love you, Evie.
I love you too.
She's been our best friend for 8 years. She's sold us our house in Maricopa.
Evie is the most wonderful, helpful person in the world.
There's your key.
Awesome.
Yay! I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful.
We've always had no issues working with you or anything like that, so we were like, you know what, that's just a natural choice. Like, it was a no-brainer for us.
We EXP. I love people, and I love to help buyers and sellers, and now I love helping realtors get what they want in life. Today, we're sitting here with Joe and Lindy Wisdom, two very special friends of mine.
I couldn't imagine going through this with somebody else, and I'm just I was just in awe the way you just jumped in there and took charge. That was very impressive.
And I am so blessed and so grateful. I have with me today Evie Brown from EXP Realty, and she has agreed to be one of my sponsors for the Daymaker bags.
Teachers give their heart. I mean, they not are only educating our children, but they listen to their stories when the kids come to school. Sometimes they have to maneuver through hard times that the kids are going through. And they're not just an educator, they give of their time and their heart. There's only one thing left. Evie Brown,
Real estate from the heart.
Real estate from the heart.
Real estate from the heart.